station of Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are St. Louis.
This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball. Live look inside Ballpark Village. Tonight kicks off a 3-game set. The Cincinnati Reds are here to take on the Cardinals. And a look at both the Central Division and the wild card. The Cardinals just 2 back of Chicago. In the wild card, 3.5 behind the Colorado Rockies. And with Al Raboski, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Jim Hayes is here as well. Welcome to Cardinals baseball. Cardinals playing so well, pitching so well, and they'll move up Lance Lynn for this start tonight.
Yeah, with 19 games remaining, every start is very important, and Lance Lynn is the guy that you want on the mound against Cincinnati. 3 starts, good record, 2-0, ERA 1.59. The one thing, he has been pitching so well of late, but the Cardinals have not won one of his last 5 starts.
That comes down to run support. Lance Lynn inside the division, very good with some of the elite pitchers in the game. Kershaw, Gio Gonzalez, Garrett Cole. Lance Lynn inside the Central, the ERA of 2.34. Catching him tonight, Yadier Molina. And before our first pitch, some of his biggest hits, including one against the Reds. Baseball is coming up. The Cards and Reds coming up, game number 1. The last time the Cardinals had 5 in a lineup in a single season with a 5 RBI game, 2005. John Mabry, Reggie Sanders, Jimmy Ballgame, Mark Redzalonic, and of course Albert Pujols. Who else? Well, the Cardinals have done that this year. Stephen Piscotty, April 12th at Washington. Matt Carpenter, and it was highlighted with a grand slam against Toronto. Randall Grichuk. The Cardinals played very well in Arizona back in late June. Dexter Fowler. He also had a grand slam. The game on August 10th. And Yadier Molina on Sunday, pointing up to his brother, calling the game for Spanish radio. Yadi is in the lineup tonight. Looking forward to this one. Can the winning ways continue? Let's hope. Game 1, Cards Reds coming up. Sports Midwest is brought to you by Bud Light, famous among friends. By Chevy Silverado, the most dependable, longest-lasting, full-size pickups on the road. Find yours at your local Mid-America Chevy dealer. And by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. Temperatures in the mid-70s as Lance Lynn takes to the mound. It was back on July 30th. Right before the trade deadline, he had one of his best starts of the year. This is what he had to say afterwards.
No, I told you guys all along I'm not going anywhere, so I'm not worried about anything.
Still the case, no worries.
What's there to worry about? I don't control it.
Seemed a little tongue-in-cheek at the time. He did not go anywhere, and lo and behold, the Cardinals in a pennant race, Arcia in the driver's seat, and Lance Lynn, since July 30th, one of the best ERAs in all of baseball.
Just hard to believe that he hasn't won more games since that time. Only one more victory, one more defeat. But he has pitched just brilliant baseball, and when you think about Lance Lynn, you think about winner. He has been a winner since wearing the Cardinal uniform, always pitched better here at home than on the road. He actually wins 2 out of every 3 games at home, 38-19 record. He's already won 10 games against the Cincinnati Reds in his career, and he's in 3 starts this year. He's 2-0.
Jesse Winker leads it off, followed by Zach Cozart. Joey Votto comes in. Ho-hum, no big deal, red hot like usual. 313 is average. Then Scooter Gennett, Suarez, Schebler, Duvall, Turner, and Stevenson.
Danny, that Lance Lynn's going to have to really work around Joey Votto, Gennett a little bit, and Schebler. Those guys, then put yourself in a situation where you can pitch around them, even put them on base if you have to.
Yeah, the Reds really, it's their pitching that's been the problem all year long. It's the problem right now. The offense is not. This is a pretty good offensive club.
It really is, and they've scored more runs than the Cardinals have on the year. But as you say, the Cardinals have gotten much better pitching, and pitching dictates victories.
1-0 pitch to Winker is a strike in the Hyundai pitch arsenal with Lance Lynn. You think about the fastball and how he cuts it. He moves it all around the zone, mixes in the slider, curve, and change. The 1-1 pitch and a ground ball that's hit to second. Colton Wong makes the play, 1 away.
Makes the play. Boy, that's what you're talking about. If you can get a defense to make the plays behind you, you can have a little fun.
And it brings in Zach Cozart. The numbers on Lance Lynn. Start number 30 tonight. Cozart, not very good numbers against Lynn. Just a 167 average, 6 for 36. But a very solid year for the all-star at shortstop and a free agent to be for Cincinnati too.
Now, he has hit 2 home runs off of Lynn's, but that was a problem. Lance has given up a career-high 24 home runs this year, but 20 of them were in the first half. He's really cut down the long ball.
It's something to consider tonight watching Lance Lynn. And that's well hit out to deep left field. And this is a 1-0 Cincinnati lead. There's the home run hit by Cozart, his 20th of the year. 1-0 Cincinnati.
Got it out of my mouth about how he cut down on the home runs in the second half, but that's still just the 5th in the second half out of 25. But it does give you a reminder, how explosive this team can be.
First pitch was ruled a ball. That clearly is a strike. And then the next pitch, goodbye.
Elevated up in the zone and hit out of the ballpark.
So 7 hits for Cozart against Lynn, and 3 of those have been home runs. Here's Joey Votto. In his last 25 games against the Cardinals, his average is .436. It looks like this will be the 8th consecutive year in which he hits 300 for a season. Toyota key to the game. Be careful with Joey Votto. Some way, somehow. Highest single season OPS against the Cardinals all time. And it's 3rd best and maybe on the rise.
He's just going to reach base. You know, you just have to be very careful with him.
.3-0 on Votto. He's got the green light. Zach Cozart has made it a 1-0 Cincinnati lead with his home run. Votto right now coming into play tonight, not just against the Cardinals, but all of baseball, 3rd best in OPS. On pace to set a new franchise record. 4th season OPS, how high it's been. And with that home run, the Reds have made a little history tonight. Cozart, the 6th player with 20 or more home runs in their lineup. So that's what we're talking about, the explosiveness that they have.
Yeah, a couple times they've had 5 20 home run men, but never had 6 until tonight.
There's a fly ball into left center. Racing over Harrison Bader, but it'll be Tommy Pham with the catch. Around the Horn is presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. The Cardinals tonight with Pham, Bader, and Grichuk in the outfield. Carpenter, DeYoung, Wong, and Martinez on the infield, and Yadier Molina is behind the plate. Scooter Gennett goes from being released by the Milwaukee Brewers one of the final days of spring training to being the middle of September a cleanup hitter for his hometown Reds.
Of course, remember he had 4 home runs against the Cardinals one night.
And that pitch is a strike.
He's always hit the Cardinals well.
It was back on June 6th He also had 5 hits in that game to go along with the 4 home runs. June 6th, Scooter Gennett. Game that was started by Adam Wainwright. One, you think, okay, impressive. That's John Gant. That's number 2. The third one was really impressive. He hit it the other way. And then with 2 strikes and 0-2 count, John Brebbia, and history was made.
Knew that last time he was going to go up there trying for it, but when you try, you usually don't do it. That was a magical night for him.
Remember on the 0-1 swing, he almost fell down and lost the bat. That pitch is popped up left side. Carpenter calling for it, and he has it. The home run hit by Zach Cozart, his 20th of the year. Half inning in the books. 1-0 Cincinnati. Tonight for Brian Price's club and the Cincinnati Reds, their final visit to St. Louis. And at the top of the lineup, it is Matt Carpenter, followed by Tommy Pham. Dealt with some vision issues over the weekend. Then Paul DeYoung. Jose Martinez has really emerged as the Cardinals cleanup man. Yadier Molina, Colton Wong, Harrison Bader, Randall Grichuk, and the pitcher Lance Lynn. Control, a real key for tonight's starter, the Hyundai pitch arsenal on Robert Stevenson.
He walked 6 in his last time, but he won that ball game 9-3. They're saying what's really been the improvement in his last 4 victories is because of a slider. He pitches a slider and a curveball, but his fastball is pretty good, but having trouble locating it.
There's the fastball down low.
Having contact with the heel.
Here's a 1-0 pitch, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Always interesting when you see a pitcher where they want to line up. Could be on that first base side of the rubber. Some guys right down the middle. Some the heel on the back of the rubber. And some folks may be wondering what's on the right toe of a pitcher, and maybe you could explain that, the protective gear that's on that right foot.
Yeah, it's like what to call a pitching toe, and it's just an extra leather, or in this case it looks like it's more of a type of plastic that you put on there to try and keep your foot. He'll drag that foot, and you wear out that part of the shoe. Danny, I had trouble with my left adductor. I tore my left adductor 3 times, but I had a situation where I would around the ball of my foot, I would create you see how he drags there? Well, I would tear, even with a pitching toe, I'd tear the shoe open, and I'd get a blister there. And it sounds funny, but when I kind of lost my leg drive and lost my motion, I always wanted to get the tear a pair of shoes open there, and I couldn't do it. And that's what really was my, you know, when I was in complete control was when I would drag that foot enough and push and drive, drop and drive, and
So
I
kind
lost
of like
my velocity.
A reminder for you.
Yeah, I mean it would hurt. It would hurt, but
Sure.
it was a good hurt.
We've seen guys that have to wear knee pads with their drive.
Tom Seaver is the
yeah.
one you think of.
3-2 pitch, and he walked him. Well, we mentioned it. Control really an issue for Stevenson. Good stuff. It's just, can he control it?
You know, in times they say he gets really nervous. It's something he's been able to try and correct as he's getting deeper into his career. But when you start walking people, you know, that start playing with the head games. And a guy like, you know, Carpenter, you know, is going to be patient enough. You hope the other Cardinals will also be patient to get themselves in good hitting counts.
What a year it's been for Tommy Pham. Leads the Cardinals in average, on-base percentage, OPS, which is on-base plus slugging. And in those categories, he's in the top 12 of all three. 79 runs scored. He's 1 home run shy, 1 stolen base shy of being a 20-20 man.
We're talking about Tommy Pham, 0 for 7 in his last 7 plate appearances, but the eye problem and how prevalent or worse it is during day games.
And a ground ball left side. Cozart throws wide of second base, and everybody's safe. Normally a very good glove man.
I was going to just say the same thing. You know, a Gold Glove caliber shortstop, and really kind of eased up. He had his momentum falling backwards, and that allowed that ball to sail on him. And Scooter Gennett just not long enough or tall enough to hold on the bag. So Cardinals have to take advantage of that big mistake, a rare error by Cozart.
So runners at first and second now for Paul DeJong. Challenged him with a fastball, strike 1. DeJong comes in batting .287, first among National League rookies, 3rd in home runs, 3rd in RBIs, 4th in hits and doubles, 43 extra base hits.
You take Bellinger out of the equation, and boy, it'd be a close race for National League Rookie of the Year. You know, Josh Bell with the Pirates, you'd see him get a lot of votes, but you sure would DeJong too.
Duvall, Schebler, and Winker in the outfield. Suarez, Cozart, Gennett, Votto on the infield, and Turner is behind the plate. I give you those numbers, but it does give you an idea just how good he's been. Here's a 1-1 pitch. 1-2.
And then think about it too, Dan. He's playing shortstop, one of the most demanding positions, and then now batting 3rd in the batting order. You know, in an envious position there with a lot of responsibility. He's handled everything just like a veteran.
Here's a 1-2, and he waves at it and strikes out. First strikeout for Stevenson, and it brings in Jose Martinez.
He's an aggressive player, so he's going to expand the zone and get himself out at times. There was the slider there, and looked like it didn't have a lot of dip to it, but it had good movement and ran away and down a bit.
So the first 10 starts, slider usage not much, and decided to change things up, and it has worked.
And they say that is why he has been winning of late.
Here's Jose Martinez. There's the slider. So you saw the 4.2% when he was throwing the slider ineffective. He was 2-5. And the last 5 starts, he's gone 4-0.
I think I'd stick with the slider.
I think so. Figure out a way to use it. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Fastball and a high fly ball out to right center. Schebler over, makes the catch. Both runners tagging up. Pham to second base. Carpenter over to third. It's a small thing, but you like to see it. Tommy Pham first to second.
Well, you either knew, pretty soon you knew that was either going to be caught or it was going to be a situation where it's probably a home run. So he gets back to the bag. And Tommy has great confidence in his running ability, and he made the right choice right there by testing them.
Brings in Yadier Molina.
Watch Votto, you think he was trying to sneak in there or see if they could pick him off, but he had a long way to go.
So 2 outs and 2 on. And you could see that if he didn't swing at that pitch, maybe, just maybe, Stuart Turner is throwing to Votto and trying to catch Tommy Pham.
Did see that, but Ollie Marmol, first base coach, would also see that and get Tommy back there.
Here's an 0-1. Little bit high. Brian Price, since the start of 2015, has seen 31 different starters used. 31. Most in baseball. Here's a 1-1 pitch. The Cardinals, by comparison, 15.
Last 3 years, isn't it?
That's correct.
And think about it. The 1967 Cardinal World Champions had 31 players the entire year and used only 13 pitchers that year. And Gibby was out 2.5 months with the broken leg.
Taking high, 3-1. Colton Wong at the on-deck circle. Stevenson, the 27th overall pick back in 2011. Cardinals have seen him before, beat up on him last year, 4 innings, 5 earned, gave up a couple of home runs. 3-1 pitch. And it's 3-2. Calling the balls and strikes, the crew chief, Gary Cedarstrom. Sean Barber at first, Adrian Johnson at second. Gabe Morales is down at third.
And talking with some of the Cincinnati coaches, they just don't have, there's so much teaching going on at the major league level for the Reds. A lot of their pitchers are having to learn right at this level.
There's Jim Riggleman, longtime minor league manager in the Cardinals system, managed in the big leagues, Chicago and Washington. Brian Price, by the way, has had the option on his contract picked up, so he will be back next year. Beyond that, still up in the air.
Yeah, remember that he was a very good pitching coach before he took over the manager's job for the Reds. In fact, their pitchers liked him so well that they helped getting him hired as the skipper.
Here's a 3-2. Out of play. Keep an eye on the scoreboard tonight. The Cardinals 2 games back of Chicago. Cubs against the Mets tonight. They are scoreless. Milwaukee a 4-2 lead over Pittsburgh at home. That's in the bottom of the 3rd. Milwaukee 2.5 games out after losing last night. A 3-2 pitch to Yadier Molina. Molina rips it. Fair. Inside the line. To the corner. 2 runs will score. And Yachty to second base. 2-1 St. Louis.
Yachty's getting older and he's getting better. He's at that age where he should be slowing down, but not Yachty. 2 more RBIs. He leads the ball club now with 74. Gives the Cardinals the lead. And boy, he worked that count perfectly. Then he got the pitch that he wanted, and he was looking for a pitch to drive, and he sure did.
That ties Ted Simmons, 11th on the Cardinals all-time list, 332. We know Yadier Molina is a surefire Cardinals Hall of Famer, and as he continues with these kind of years and numbers, edging closer to Cooperstown. Here's a 1-0 pitch to Colton Wong. Ground ball right side, foul. Yachty just turned 35 in season. You start looking at the numbers of catchers age 34, 35 seasons. Molina putting up one of the best ever.
Well, that's what I said. You know, when he's supposed to slow down, he's not. You know, he's catching more and more, and he's hitting.
Here's a 1-1. Someone asked me the other day, and I was talking about it a little bit on the air, but they said, what's his greatest asset? I said durability. The fact that you can put that name in the lineup every single day.
I'd have to say there's more than one, you know, because that definitely is one, but it's his awareness on the field. I mean, he sees things that other people don't. Look at the lead he's got now.
And a strikeout of Colton Wong and a fastball. Molina the double down the left field line. That scores two. The walk and then the air. Both come around to score. Yachty loves it. 2-1 St. Louis. Injury update. Let's check in with Jim Hayes.
Dan, Dexter Fowler is still dealing with swelling inside that left knee after he went crashing into the wall in center field on Saturday. Fowler says the swelling has gone down some, but there is still no timetable for his return. As Dexter put it, there's still swelling in there. Once it goes, fast track. Jed Jerko dealing with a right hamstring issue. GM Michael Gersh told me that Jed ran the bases today and made much harder turns. Gersh says if Jerko recovers well tomorrow, he could return as a pinch hitter over the next day or two. Dan, that would be good news, obviously, for the Cards.
Yeah, Dexter Fowler is out, at least for the time being, right?
Yeah, they have to wait for the swelling to go down to figure out what's next for Dexter, and right now there is swelling in the knee. He said it has gone down a little bit, Dan, but they're going to have to wait it out, and he said no timetable. He was asked about a return for the series against the Cubs at Wrigley, and he said, I'm hopeful.
We have a shot there of Jed Jerko. So turning on the bases is the issue, not so much straight ahead. Is that correct?
Yeah, he's been able to run out of the batter's box. The question is, if he gets a hit as a pinch hitter, can he turn left? He's been doing that a little bit more strenuously every day. Today, apparently he did it quite hard, and he feels he's almost ready to go, depending how the hamstring responds tomorrow. If that's a go, then we could see Jed as a pinch hitter.
All right, Jimmy, thanks.
I was talking to Jed after that workout, and he was very encouraged. Also said he's been hitting, took ground balls today, so when he does get that okay, you can see him start as a pinch hitter and then be back in that lineup pretty close or pretty soon. Who sits?
Good question.
I mean, those are nice questions to have, but it's
2-2 pitch. Inside corner and a strikeout of Suarez in the first of the night for Lynn. We saw the previous pitch, a foul tip catch out here Molina. Part of the durability, staying in there day after day after day. Oldest players to lead Major League Baseball in innings caught. And Molina 34 and just over 1,000 innings on a pretty good list.
That leads this season of all Major League catchers. Right up there with the top catchers in the league too.
And he's tied for 15th most all time in starts by a catcher. The great Yogi Berra, St. Louis native. The 5400 block of Elizabeth Avenue. The Hill here in St. Louis. There's Shebler. At one time, the Hill, the same street at Joe Graziola, Yogi Berra, and Jack Buck. 3 Hall of Famers.
Right.
There's a high fly ball lifted out to deep left. Plenty of room for Tommy Pham. Most popular way to follow the Cardinals postseason push is with MLB.com at bat. #1 app for live baseball. Enjoy game day, live game video highlights, radio broadcast, StatCast, news, and more. Download MLB.com at bat today. 2 outs, and it brings in Duvall. He is 1 for 8 with a triple against Lynn. Fastball and a strike. At times what we've seen from Lance Lynn has been, and you could speak about this a little bit more than I could, Al, but finishing off his pitches. So on a right-hander, you'll see the ball tail up and in, lefty up and away.
Dan, the finish is what is so important. That's where you get your movement. You also, you put yourself into a situation where the ball explodes out of your hand. Most people think that, you have to try and throw a ball hard. Usually when you do that, you grip it too hard, your wrist tightens up, your forearm, and the ball doesn't do anything. It has no life to it and not velocity. The days you really have something that's special is when you stay on top of the ball, you release it, and the ball it really literally feels like it jumps out of your hand, and it's just free and easy. That's when you get that late life, which makes it very tough. And that last pitch, you saw it just kind of run in at the last second.
2-1 pitch and a fly ball out to left. Racing in Pham. He won't get there. And a 2-out hit for Duvall.
Watch here a little bit as he gets the ball in. And Lance has a tendency when he's not in the strike zone that he'll fall quite a bit towards first base.
Lance working on that first base side of the rubber. Back to Lynn, off his glove. Wong makes the play. Nicely done. 1-4-3. Midway through 2. 2-1 Cardinals. In time now for our T-Mobile Unlimited baseball break. The Indians leading 1-0 in the 5th, trying to make it 20 straight. Dodgers have dropped 11 straight, longest since their move to LA in 1958. Steven Strasburg, 34 consecutive scoreless innings, getting hot as the Nationals have already clinched a postseason spot. They have won the National League East.
LA's at San Diego, or excuse me, San Francisco tonight.
The Indians, having won 19 in a row, have outscored their opponents 132-32. Here's Harrison Bader. Bader on the first pitch, yanks it foul. Hitting .309 during this 19-game streak. And the pitching has allowed just barely over a run per game. They've had 6 shutouts during this time. And Bader a base hit into right field. Indians, by the way, have Corey Kluber going tonight, who just might be the Cy Young Award winner in the American League.
Again.
Kluber, by the way, 5 innings, 2 hits, 6 strikeouts thus far.
I like that to see a foul ball that he just drills home run distance to left. Then he takes an inside out swing and hits the ball to right.
There's Randall Grichuk. Home run number 20 on Sundays, so back-to-back years with 20 or more home runs. Short lead at first by Bader.
Still, Grichuk is so intriguing, isn't he? Got that great power.
Cardinals have a lot of questions coming up in the offseason.
Boy, they do. Some of those are nice questions because way too many outfielders.
0-1 pitch. You would think with his slider and Grichuk at times struggling against that pitch last couple of years, this would be a tough matchup for him.
Yeah, very, very good point. And of course, he's hoping that he'll hang one of those sliders and then it becomes home run number 21. By the way, Sierra was recalled today.
Here's the 0-2 pitch. 1-2. Milwaukee has added a run, 5-2 over the Pirates in the top of the 4th. And there's Magneuris Sierra. All he did was score runs and hit when he was here.
Yeah, really fun to see him. First 9 major league games, he got hits in. And of course, on the other side, Billy Hamilton out for the year with a broken hand.
Got him. Went up the ladder in a strikeout of Grichuk. Number 3 tonight for Robert Stevenson. The batter will be Lance Lynn. Cardinals waiting for Lance Lynn. Ladies and gentlemen, Lance Lynn.
The switch hitter.
Which side of the plate do you like
better?
better?
To the right
Al?
side. I like him better as a left-hander.
I do too. Now you may ask him to bunt in this spot, which he prefers to hit from his side of the plate. And a strike to Lynn.
You know, obviously, every organization would love to have, you know, their pitcher bat with their pitching arm being the one behind you. You know, if you're right-handed, they want you to bat right-handed. Left-handed, they want you to hit left-handed. Protect the pitching arm.
Here's the 0-1 pitch. Taken high. 1 ball, 1 strike.
I was a left-handed thrower, right-handed batter, and they tried to change me, and I said, I understand what you're doing, but I feel so comfortable as a right-hand hitter. I can get out of the way of the ball. If I was standing up there left-handed, I don't know if I'd freeze or whatever. So I'll stay right-handed.
Gets the bunt down. Stevenson. Only play is to first. Sacrifice good. Bader advancing to second base, and it brings in Carpenter.
Little things like that help you win.
Carpenter walked and scored back in the first. We saw in the final plate appearance the 3 strikeout game for Carpenter on Sunday. Did not look at all comfortable with his swings as he took a cortisone shot to that shoulder and had the off day yesterday. Really struggles getting extension. But boy, he does enough to hang in there more times than not in terms of just being able to foul a pitch or 2 away. And with his great batter's eye, drawing walks.
He can still help his cause offensively with walks.
Ball gets away. Bader will advance to third. That's the other aspect of throwing a lot of sliders, the potential of the wild pitch, especially now with a runner at third.
Down and in, the young catcher doesn't block it.
Here's a 1-0 pitch to Matt Carpenter. Taken high. Notice how Bader is aggressively coming down the line. And the ball slightly gets away. With his speed, he could score and make this 3-1.
I remember his major league debut. Scored a run. Sealed the victory.
Here's a 2-0 pitch. 2-1. Milwaukee the 5-2 lead in the top of the 4th. Brewers 4 games out in the wild card. Thames his 29th home run. Cubs and Mets scoreless. Gesellman against Quintana. The 2-1. 2-2.
Just watch Carpenter almost take a practice swing. It's almost he holds the hands really in close to the body. Not in getting that extension where it possibly would hurt the shoulder.
There's also pitches that he's taken, I've noticed the last couple of games and on the road trip, that normally he drives.
Right.
Sometimes just hits it softly out of play to the left side. We'll see how it pans out. The 2-2 pitch. The 3-2 pitch to Carpenter. And he draws the walk. Second walk issued to Matt Carpenter. Runners at the corners for Tommy Pham.
Got a ton of walks over at first base, don't you? Between Carpenter and Botto, number 1 and number 2 in the league.
Over 200.
Yeah.
And it brings in Pham. The vision with Pham is such a tenuous deal that he goes through every day, from what he puts in the eye, the contacts, are they working? As you mentioned earlier, day games, and Tommy's told us this, are a little bit tougher on him than a night game. It's a unique eye condition that he deals with, and he actually was at a dinner and a function last night and represented those that suffer from it, spoke about it. Here's the 0-1 pitch. He's told me that when his playing career is done, he may go on the speaker's circuit with doctors that deal with this condition, to go across the country to help those that deal with the particular condition that he has. Here's a 1-1. Pham with a drive. Right center, that ball is down. All the way to the wall. 1 run is in. Here comes Carpenter. Pham on his way to third. A triple drives in 2.
So important to do damage early in a ball game against a club like Cincinnati. Tommy Pham plugs that gap out in right center with his speed. He can fly around the bases, and good to see him get the triple, 2 RBIs. He's up to 63. He's got the play in front of him, so he doesn't need a coach really at all. He could just, but you see, he looks over there, picks him up, make sure the runner ahead of him is going home. You get ahead of a club like Cincinnati. Cincinnati has played very well in the Central Division. They actually are 1 game over 500 in the Central Division, but they just can't beat the West, the East, or the American League, and find themselves in last in the division.
Here's a 1-0 pitch to DeYoung.
They've actually beaten the Cardinals 8 times at the first 13 meetings. But if you jump ahead of them right now, get a lead on them, and they have that tendency, you know, we lose so much, we'll come back tomorrow, we'll try and make a game of it. You just got to put the pressure on them.
Here's a 1-1. DeYoung, a drive, deep left field. This ball is off the wall. Pham scores. DeYoung to second base to make it a 5-1 St. Louis lead. The 5 runs tonight all have been scored with 2 outs.
Well, that's another great attribute too, Dan, is you never take the foot off the pedal. Down and in. He's so good at hitting that ball down and in. Very aggressive. Misses the home run by a couple feet. Leads the ball club with his 21 home runs, but he's going to have some competition in that the rest of the way. Jenkins, the pitching coach, out to talk to his young pitcher.
Now a 4-run lead for Lance Lynn.
He hasn't got 4 runs in the last 5+ starts. He's only gotten 1 run in his last 21 innings when he's been on the mound.
And here's Jose Martinez. Matt Carpenter, as we talked about, the walks piling up, also the runs scored. That's 80. He's scored at least 80 now in each of his last 5 seasons.
It's a new career high in walks.
That joins Mike Trout, Andrew McCutchen, Ian Kinsler, Brett Gardner, the only ones to do so.
His first walk was 95 to tie his career. Second one was 96 to set a new record.
2 balls and no strikes.
You see in Central Division, they played very good competitive baseball. 1 game over 500, but can't win the others.
The 2-0 to Jose Martinez. Activity already in the bullpen for the Reds. By the way, the last Cardinal to have 100 walks in a season was all the way back in 2010. Albert Pujols. And Alejandro Chacin getting loose, a right-hander in the pen for Cincinnati. 2 balls and 1 strike on Jose Martinez. Ground ball pulled foul. Those are some of the guys you think would be the mainstays getting you to this position of 2 games out in the Central, but it's been a collective team effort. With Fowler out, Wainwright out, Jerko out, young guys have stepped up, including Jose Martinez.
Given the opportunity, some of them really done a great job of taking advantage of it. Pham and Martinez come to mind.
The 2-2. He waves at it and strikes out. So the Cardinals again strike with 2 outs. Tommy Pham the triple. That would score 2. Paul DeYoung off the wall and left. After trailing 1-0, it's 5 unanswered for the Birds. Krispy Kreme dozen deal. Cardinals get 9 hits tonight. You're invited into Krispy Kreme tomorrow. Receive a dozen of their original glazed donuts for only $3.99. Stop by one of the 5 St. Louis area Krispy Kreme locations or the locations in Bloomington or Springfield, Illinois for this sensational deal. Gorgeous night here at Busch Stadium. Glad that you're with us. Along with Al Raboski, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Jim Hayes is here as well.
Yeah, great weather all summer.
Stevenson at the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike. After Stevenson hits, we're going to show you a Hall of Famer that was in uniform today and helping out the Cardinal infielders. The 1-1. Sometimes when guys come back, they don't want to upset the coaches that are in uniform every single day. It can be a fine line of you don't want to cross it, but certainly you know, these guys are watching day in and day out, and they have their own thoughts as to how plays should be made, or stances, or approaches, or defensively what you do. And Mike Matheny has said time and again he wants the Hall of Famers to come back with input. And a strikeout of Stevenson. I have not seen Ozzie in uniform all year, with the exception of spring training. That was it.
I can't think of any time other than spring training, never during the season. You know, last several years.
There he is talking with Matt Carpenter. Eventually he would go to the shortstop position and work with Paul DeJong. Ozzie will always tell you about footwork before the glove and what you do prior to the pitch to get yourself in a position that's conducive to getting rid of the ball as quickly as you can.
That's interesting, because I came upon a conversation of Jim Riggleman and Myers. You know, oh, come on, former Cardinal scout, now with Cincinnati.
Marty Meyer.
Marty Meyer. I felt so bad. He's a good guy. And they were talking about footwork of infielders and talking about how you teach the footwork and everything else. But if a guy's just throwing the ball into the stands, you know, that's the yips. And Riggleman said that happened to him. And he said, I had to give up throwing batting practice because I couldn't throw it inside the cage.
There's a ground ball to Young to his left. Good footwork. One of the initial things that they did with DeJong when he first came up was simply walking into the pitch. Remember, he's been at third base, he's been at second base, and the footwork is different with each to an extent. But the simple idea of walking into a pitch and not being caught flat-footed. Pop Warner, Ron Pop Warner, who's been a long-time minor league manager and coach, worked with DeJong in the minor leagues on that. Ollie Marmol has done that, and they felt that that really helped with his first step.
I was asking Pop today. I said, many of the young guys, you know, who has impressed you with, you know, their ability to come up here and succeed? And he said DeJong. And I said, well, of course. You know, he's hitting 21 home runs. He said, no, defensively.
Ground ball left side. There's Carpenter, and he makes the play. 1-2-3 go the Reds. 5-1 St. Louis.
Por el jardín izquierdo. La pelota se va. Se va.
Coge esa. Patazo elevado. Pero esa pelota. ¡En historia! ¡Coge esa! Otro cuadrangular de Yadier Molina. Para que le tire la cabeza.
So last year against the Reds, and then on Sunday, Brian McCann, who helps direct and produce, he's behind the scenes. He said, let's take the radio feed of the Spanish broadcasters, and sure enough, every time we go to that feed, Yadi does something.
I know.
Spectacular. So last year against the Reds, it was the home run, and on Sunday, timing is everything. He hits the home run on Sunday. Paulo Asensio and Benji Molina there on the right. The Spanish broadcast will continue for home games throughout the season.
They're having so much fun.
It's great. If you can expose Cardinal baseball to those that understand the language better in Spanish, why wouldn't we do it? It's wonderful. 3-0 the count on Yadier Molina. So really, I think what needs to happen is Yadi needs to maybe sign a jersey to Brian McCann. He's the good luck charm in making this happen. Thanks, Brian. Timing is everything. Yadier Molina.
Make it happen, Dan.
He made it. Well, maybe I will.
Yeah, make it happen.
3-1 is popped out. And it's out of play. 3-2. Molina is first time up. A double. Then scored 2.
Put the Cardinals ahead for the first time. And let's hope last time.
Notice that Molina has been choking up on the bat, also using a little lighter bat here in the latter stages of the regular season. 3-2 pitch. And takes a ball low. So Stevenson, his third walk. And the batter will be Colton Wong. Wong struck out his first time up. And looks at a breaking ball for his strike.
There's the curveball there. We've talked about the slider, but a lot of times the left-handers, see predominantly our left-handed hitters going to see predominantly the changeup as a secondary pitch.
Here's the 0-1. Inside. 1 ball and 1 strike. It's a light drizzle right now here at the ballpark. Very light. But enough to bring out an umbrella. Here's a 1-1 instead of check on Molina. Back safely at first. The schedule for 2018 came out today. And the Cardinals will open up in New York on a Thursday afternoon, March 29th. Earliest start time in years, March 29th. That's a base hit the other way, inside the third base line. Molina on his way to third. Wong with a double. Great to see him go the other way, and he's been doing that a bunch.
A lot of hits that way, aren't there? And in this case, extra base hits. Third baseman well off the third base line, so he has no chance of getting this ball at all.
That's like a Joey Votto hit.
Oh, but look where it's pitched, and look how he really stayed with it. Kept the hands back, went down, and just take that pitch exactly where it was, down and away, and hit it that way.
Now Harrison Bader, 5-1 our score, and the infield is brought in by Cincinnati. Ball 1. Bader hitting just .222 in the three-plus games now of this homestand, but 8 RBIs in his last 10 games. Here's a 1-0 pitch. Ground ball that's hit to short. Runners stay put. We have first base open, but you say, do you deal with Randal Grichuk and the slider, or would you rather face Carpenter? I think the answer is you pitch to Grichuk. Grichuk had to go back down to the minor leagues, kind of retool things, clear the air. And when I say that, maybe clear his head more so than anything, and just try to get back on track offensively, and has come back and performed.
Young players and veterans put a lot of pressure on themselves. And when you're not swinging the bat well or pitching well, that increases, and sometimes it becomes your biggest enemy. But in Randall's case, he just has to know the strike zone and not chase pitches, breaking balls preferably down and away. And see the damage he does with his awesome power, when he gets pitches that he can handle.
Here's a 1-0 pitch. Grichuk with a fly ball out to center. Schebler came in, now goes back and makes the catch. 2 runners will tag up. Makes it a 6-1 St. Louis lead, and the RBI for Grichuk, number 55.
Schebler playing center field. Remember, Billy Hamilton out for the year with a broken hand, so he kind of got a bad jump on it, but was able to make up the ground, catch the ball deep enough for the RBI, and also for Wong to tag up and go to third.
Here's Lance Lynn now hitting from the other side of the plate.
What happens if they put the squeeze on? Just turn around.
With 2 outs, I'm not going to worry about it. And slices that foul. So we mentioned that the schedule next year, it's out. Cardinals open up on the road. They'll have the home opener against Arizona. And by starting the schedule earlier, the idea is 3 to 4 extra days off throughout the season. Home opener will be April 5th against the Diamondbacks. April 16th, first visit to Wrigley. Some of the highlights of that schedule. And a swing and a miss by Lynn. Colton Wong, the double inside the third base line. All Cardinals so far. the year is through. Jim Hayes, do you have an answer for us?
He's hoping. Dan, Waino has been working hard for a return from the DL. He had shut it down with that right elbow issue. Today he threw off the mound for the first time. 24 pitches at about 80% capacity. Pitching coach Derek Lilliquist told me Waino looked much improved. GM Michael Gersh told me on the pregame that bullpens are important, but how Waino feels tomorrow is just as important. And Dan, Gersh says the Cards have no plan right now as to where Waino can or will return to the rotation or if he goes to the bullpen. They just want him back, Dan.
All right, Jimmy, thanks. Here's Joey Votto. Light rain here at the ballpark. 6-1 our score, top of the fourth, and a strike to Votto.
Also, we're talking with Marty Meyer and Jim Riegelman and talking about the Cincinnati Reds and all their young pitchers. They made the point that they didn't have an Adam Wainwright, you know, or have that veteran guy to help lead the young kids.
Shallow center. That's Bader. And he makes the catch. McDonald's Ticket Fest is back. Visit Cardinals.com/McDonald's to purchase $9 tickets. The Cardinals and Cubs here at Busch Stadium. September 12th through the 14th. That's $9 tickets. It's the best rivalry in the National League. Cardinals.com/McDonald's. And a lot could be riding on that series.
And you think about the Cardinals have had, you know, you had the Bob Gibsons who helped teach at Carlton, who went elsewhere at a young age, but you know, then you just go on from the Henkins and the Carpenters and, you know, Woody Williams to the Wainwrights, and just that heritage keeping it all going.
Wainwright, an avid hunter, but
praying mantis.
Looks like he wants to have a pet.
I think he's afraid of it. I begged the question. I said, how big a loss was Bob Force to the Cincinnati Reds organization? And they said huge. You know, Bobby was just in his second year of coaching, and you know, it had his death way too soon, and they felt that was a real blow to their minor leagues that didn't have the benefit of a guy like Bob Force that learned from some of the great Cardinal pitchers to help instruct and pass on that knowledge to the young Reds pitchers. They're saying they're all having to learn at this level.
I am sensing another theme night with that Mantis. Praying Mantis night here at the ballpark.
Got a few suggestions, but I'll hold them.
I'm sure you will. That'd be a good thing.
For my career and everything else.
Indians trying to make it 20 wins in a row, and they lead 2-0. That's in the 7th. The 1916 Giants. Now that was a really odd year. They had a winning streak of 17 games, all of those on the road, and 26 games, and yet they finished in 4th place. They started the year 2-13, and then John McGraw revamped that team. He traded Christy Mathewson. And they were below 500 for the better part of the year. Popped up. Carpenter, foul territory. Bottom of 5, Milwaukee a 5-2 lead. And the Mets and Cubs are scoreless. That's in the top of the 4th.
Oh, Lance doing his thing, isn't he?
Cleveland, it's been an amazing story. They haven't lost since August 23rd.
He made the point too without Andrew Miller.
And they're hoping to get him back by postseason play. It's a knee issue that he's dealing with. So 2 outs and nobody on. And a ball to the batter, Eugenio Suarez. (6-1) our score. 1 ball and 1 strike. last 6 starts when Lynn has been on the mound, the Cardinals have not been able to get this amount of runs combined. It's 5, and he's got 6 tonight.
You know, and he's handled it great. He said, I've gotten plenty of runs in the past. You know, it's one of those things, and not complaining, and a potential free agent. So, you know, the win total means an awful lot at the negotiating table. But I, for one, go on the record saying I wish they'd sign him. I don't think they will, but I wish they would.
2-2 pitch. Got him to reach and a ground ball. Carpenter cuts it off and out at first. Now they're feeding him. 6-1 our score. State Farm perfect pair. The Cardinals have come through. This put the Cardinals on top 2-1. Tommy Pham with this triple extending the lead. Six to 1 our score. Carlos, I think he scared Mike Matheny down there. Our Chevy called to the pen. Chassin is in. Carpenter takes a ball. He has seen 14 pitches tonight and has not put one in play. And yet he has drawn 2 walks, 2 runs scored. Rally Mantis probably has advice from Mike Matheny, just like everybody else.
Isn't that the truth?
Looks at a strike, 2-1. One to nothing Mets over Chicago in the top of the 4th. 3-1. Mike has done maybe his best job of managing this year. The stretch run, granted the division hasn't been all that great. No one's run away with it, but there's a 3rd walk for Carpenter with the influx of young players, rookies, trying to figure out the right combination, losing key players. His staff has kept it together. Cardinals this state 17 games back, and tonight just 2, and it could be 1, and it's the same record from a year ago. There's Tommy Pham, who has reached on an error and scored, and a triple that scored 2 back in the second.
CIN was promoted on August 23rd. Made his major league debut that night against the Cubs and allowed a 2-run home run to the first batter he faced, Estella.
Inside corner, 1-2.
And struck out Jason Hayward for the second batter. Low inside.
Here's a 1-2. Pham puts it in play, left side. They'll get the lead man. The turn, not in time. Start your day with First Things First, weekday mornings on FS1. Host Chris Carter, Nick Wright kick off the day with the latest in sports. First Things First, weekdays at 5:30 a.m. on FS1. There's the Mantis, and he gone. There's Paul DeYoung. His first 90 games, 44 extra base hits. Albert Pujols, his first 90 games, 43. That puts it in perspective, the kind of start that he's had.
I mean, really, when you look at the home runs he hit, he was second to Albert.
So it's June 15th, 20 home runs, third most in all of baseball. Stanton with 37 in that time frame.
I was talking with Pop Warner about, who's surprising most. He said DeYoung, and I'm thinking, well, yeah, he could hit. He goes, no, I thought he'd be able to hit up here. I just didn't think he could play shortstop. But DJ, Mark DeJean, said last year, he said the best shortstop in our organization is DeYoung, and he goes, I have to say that DJ was right.
Here's a 2-1. When you think about organizations that flip a lot of turnover with their managers, their coaches in the minor leagues, Cardinals knew that Pop Warner would be a good coach and potential manager at some point. Back in 1998, Pop retired in '99. He actually traveled with the club just to get a taste of what it was like to be in the big leagues, get an idea, see Tony La Russa at work. There's a fly ball hit down the left field line. This will drop, and it's fair. Pham on his way to third, and runners at the corners. But the point being, keeping it within the family, so to speak, promoting within. And how can you be a young player in the Cardinals organization and not look at what's happening and say, well, they're not paying attention to me? They're paying attention. Look at all the promotions.
Yeah, I think, there were times and there were some organizations where you would be blocked and you had no chance to get up in that organization. So you were, praying for a trade. But right now, like you say, the Cardinals keep on promoting these guys, and they come up here, some of them first time, like 887 games in the minor leagues for Jose Martinez before he came up last year. Then you got young guys like Bader, that some of the young pitchers that are just racing through in the first couple of years. Can't say enough about the job of scouting and developing.
1 ball and 1 strike.
First trade is the toughest. You and Ricky were talking a little bit about that the other day, but you feel like you're going to be a Cardinal forever. It's like cutting the umbilical cord when somebody sends you, and like they tell you that or the proper way to look at it is somebody wants you more so than the club you're with, so it gives you a new opportunity to go someplace. But Everybody's dream is to come through or get up to the organization that first signs him.
Kubota Power Stats, Martinez since July 3rd. Only Blackman and Herrera better average. Martinez adding to it. Down into the corner. Pham will score. DeYoung to third. Mike Schilt waving him in. Relay to the plate. It is not in time. He scores. And Martinez drives in two.
You showed that high batting average for Martinez, but remember he's also driven in 38 now and has 13 home runs. So he has shown you why he's batting cleanup. And Paul DeYoung has this ball in there. Remember, Duvall, the left fielder, has 13 assists. Leads the National League in assists, but DeYoung outraces the ball to the plate.
He did everything right. The ball's in front of him, rounding second, hustling to third, picks up his coach, doesn't lose stride. Outstanding. Three runs for Tommy Pham. Fourth time he has done that. Molina puts it in play to short, gloved by Cozart. Runner advances to third. That's Martinez.
In front of him so he can advance over. Let's see. High hurdles.
First time that Molina has been retired. Here's Colton Wong, and that's pulled foul. Wong is struck out and also doubled. Cardinals moving Lynn into this position in the rotation, which will allow him to pitch Sunday at Wrigley Field.
Made a lot of sense, didn't it?
Oh yeah, off day and could rearrange a bit, and why not do it?
Of course, the offense didn't realize he was changing, so they're getting him a lot of runs.
8-1 our score. 1-1 pitch. Wong hits a fly ball into center. Schebler under it and makes the catch. Cardinals have scored in every inning. Two more here in the fourth. DeYoung racing to the plate and scoring the 8th run the ball game tonight. our score here, top of 5. It'll be Schebler, Duvall, and Turner. Lynn has allowed 2 hits. The Cardinals have 8 runs on 7. Not many times have we talked about the fact that Lance Lynn is a year removed from Tommy John surgery. It's kind of an afterthought, and yet here he is in start number 30 tonight.
He did have the benefit of several months. You know, you normally talk about it's a 12 to 18 month surgery, and he was about 18 months before he started pitching this year. But he knew a year ago that he was going to be fine. In September, remember, he had a couple little rehab minor league outings, and so he could have a normal off season. But the way he's handled this year, being his walk year, no discussions with the ball club, I mean, he's been really, really good, both on and off the field.
3-1 the count on Scott Schebler since 2003. Following Tommy John surgery, the lowest ERA of those that have had it. And then the following year, Lynn under 3, the only one to do that. It's been impressive.
Very impressive. You know,
3-2.
You know, he's eating the innings. You know, you're not having to baby him or protect him this year. Pitcher's pitch.
Three-two pitch, fouled back. I bet if he went to the Cardinals and said, hey, Lance Lynn will come back for a 2 or 3 year deal, they'd say, where do we sign? But when you start getting into 5 or 6 year deals, which is what more than likely he'll get, then they say, well, we got other pitching coming, and you know, do you really want to be paying somebody the amount of money that he's going to get?
That I believe that statement wholeheartedly.
That's a fair ball.
Ground rule double.
And Schebler stops at second base.
But with all the young pitching they have, that it appears that they would, you know, like to sign him for 2 or 3 years. But you can't blame him if somebody's going to offer him 5 or 6. You got to go for it.
It's the 6th hit for Schebler this month, 6 for 32. And it brings in Duvall, who's single to left. There's a base hit into the gap in right center. Run will score. Duvall is held to a single, and that makes it 8-2. And Duvall is 2 for 2.
Previously, he'd been only 1 for 8 against Lance. His 96th RBI for Duvall. Dangerous hitter, in and out, has the in outside swing.
Schebler scores for the 100th time this year, which is always a benchmark number for Albert Pujols. We would talk about slugging percentage and RBIs and the homers and the average, and he said, you know what? Runs scored, getting to 100, very important to me. That's how you win games. And Schebler with number 100 here tonight. Here's Stewart Turner. And the 1-0 pitch. 1 ball and 1 strike. In 10 seasons with the Cardinals, Albert scored 100 runs in 9 of the 10. And again, it's unfortunate. Next year, the interleague schedule will take the Cardinals through the American League Central. So another year in which Albert Pujols will not be in St. Louis.
It's crazy, isn't it?
It's unfortunate.
And we've been to the West and to Anaheim twice since Albert has left. He hadn't come back here.
2-2 the count. 3-2. For Duvall, the last 2 years, it adds up to 199 RBIs. Third in baseball among all outfielders. What a good trade that has been. Mike Leake was part of that deal. Turner strikes out. The BJC Healthcare difference maker. Combined winning percentage of the remaining opponents. The Cubs, the Rockies, and Brewers. Rockies, of course, the wild card. Cubs, Milwaukee could be the wild card, also could be the Central.
Cardinals have what, 3 games against Milwaukee and 7 against the Cubs. So
that's right.
It's in their hands. They can take care of their own business. They can win the Central Division.
Brewers and Cubs face each other 4 more times before the year is through. Kivlehan leads the Reds with 8 pinch hits, 52 plate appearances. The tough job of being a pinch hitter, and he's done that 52 different times. You're facing specialists, you're late in games, tight in games a lot of times. This being a different case. Cardinals leading 8-2.
It's usually a job that falls to a veteran.
2-1. By the way, the 4 games remaining with Chicago and Milwaukee are at Miller Park. Sometimes that can be a 50-50 crowd, right, with all the Cub faithful that travel to Milwaukee, driving distance. 2-1 pitch. Drilled into right center. Kivlehan with his 9th pinch hit of the year, all the way to the wall, and a run will score. To third, and safe at third. So 1-out triple. Run scores to make it 8-3. Chevy Fox tracks with this pitch.
Well, I think they wanted a little more inside, but it is down, so not a bad pitch at all. Give him a little credit. And I guess the grass is just wet enough that the ball's really scooting and get it in the gaps. It's going all the way to the wall.
Kivlehan, his first ever major league triple. And it brings in the top of the lineup in Jesse Winker. He was a compensation pick for the loss of Ramon Hernandez, 49th overall pick in 2012. He was their minor league hitter of the year in 2015 and was leading the International League in hitting when he was promoted. .314 average. Also nearly a .400 on base percentage in the minor leagues.
No, he didn't hit, wasn't a power hitter at all. When he got called up the first time, he only had 2 home runs, and then he got 2 home runs right away at the big league level. Just has 4 now.
Up the middle and off the glove of Lynn. That will save a run, maybe. No, the ball gets away from Martinez. Run scores to make it 8-4. No one back at the bag at first. Martinez there, but oh, they did get him. The tag by Jose Martinez.
And he looks like Martinez has hurt himself. I don't know if it's maybe his wrist or the triple somersault. First of all, the ball goes off of Lance, knocks it down, but it gets away from him. An off-balance throw, a good throw, but Martinez couldn't catch it. And you see Winker try to get back to the bag. Here he is. It's called out. Run does come home. Just flat out missed it, didn't it? It didn't bounce, did it?
But a little bounce to it. Got by him, but
looked like
do get the out.
He's been so good at first base recently.
So 2 outs. And the batter will be Zach Cozart. A 3-run inning here for the Reds, and the first pitch is popped up. Shortstop ball to Young. Under it, makes the catch. Look at the tag at first base. The long reach of Martinez. Just got him. Midwest is brought to you by your local St. Louis area Volkswagen dealers. Visit VWDealer.com. 8-4 our score. Bottom of the 5th rolls in. So Chevy called to the pen.
Rookie Davis.
And his first appearance as a reliever for the Reds. Previous major league outing was back on May 8th against the Yankees. Pitched into the 5th. 7 hits, gave up 4 earned, walked 3, and struck out 4. Rookie Davis. New second baseman for Cincinnati is Jose Peraza. And the first pitch taken by Harrison Bader. 8-4 I score. Cubs have taken the lead now, 4-1 in the top of the 5th. One ball and 1 strike. Fastball inside corner. Cleveland holds on. They win their 20th. Kluber complete game shutout. 9 innings, 5 hits, strikes out 8. The 2-2 pitch.
Davis was one of the 4 prospects that were acquired by Cincinnati in the Aroldis Chapman trade. Originally selected by the Yankees in the 14th round of the 2011 draft.
3-2 pitch. And Bader lifts a high fly ball. Out to left center. And the catch made on the track. Cardinals hit a home run, get a free frozen Coke or McDouble the next day with the McDonald's app. Download it for exclusive deals. Chris Bryant with a 3-run homer for Chicago. Milwaukee 5-2 over Pittsburgh. That's in the top of the 7th. Colorado, Arizona just underway. Here's Randall Grichuk. Sac fly and an RBI back in the 3rd, and also struck out. Bader now 1 for 3.
Tampa Bay beat the Yankees 2-1. They're playing that game at Citi Field, home of the Mets, because of the hurricane issues down in Florida. Davis, 23 years of age, 6'5", 256, 255, something like that.
Fly ball right center. Who wants it? Right fielder makes the catch. That'll be it then for Lance Lynn and Luke Voigt.
That breaks a string. He had gone at least 6 innings in 12 straight starts. That was the longest in the major leagues at present. And so durable this year. But expanded rosters, it's easy to go to that bench.
Voigt base hit into left. I think the other part of this too might be Al. Not saying for sure, but you buy an inning or two maybe tonight. You get the 4-run lead and get him ready for Chicago on Sunday.
I totally agree with you, Danny. I think it's a wise decision. Go to that bullpen. Some guys need some work down there to tune up, but it's more beneficial for maybe Lance Lynn. Didn't have his best stuff tonight. Get him out of there, and it's late in the season. Pitched very, very well. Oh, good Voigt though. We were talking about how tough it is to pinch hit, and Luke's done a nice job in that department.
3 walks for Carpenter tonight. He's done that 7 times this year.
Not the defense they have for him now with the runner at first base.
Only player that's done it more than Carpenter, standing at the bag at first, holding the runner on. That's Joey Votto. He has 8 games in which he has walked 3 times. Here's a 1-0 pitch to Carpenter. Three walks, 3 runs scored.
I don't know if I can remember too many games that you're playing in the bottom of the 5th inning and Votto hasn't been on base. He's 0 for 2 tonight against Lance Lynn and had big numbers against Lance.
Outside, 2-1. Big crowd. But Tuesday night here at Busch Stadium. Here's a 2-1 pitch to Carpenter. Just missed. 3-1.
Now, last week, the Carpenter been dealing with those shoulder issues all season long. Never really expressed it until he got the cortisone shot.
Same pitch and a strike.
Right on the black.
With 2 outs, 3-2. Runner from first off with the pitch. That's Voigt. Hit out of play. Mets have come back with a run to make it 4-2. Boyd again off with the pitch. Inside, and the fourth walk for Carpenter tonight. You have to go back to May 22nd, 2011. The last Cardinal with a 4-walk game. Colby Rasmus. First and second for Tommy Pham.
That would have stumped us, wouldn't it?
Colby actually had 5 in that game. With a strike from William Theron Davis. Nickname came from birth. Dad always called him Rookie. That's the only name he answers to. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Pham. Runners stay put.
He hopes he gets enough service time that he'll change his first name to Veteran.
MLB pension on the mound. Carpenter, by the way, 9 walks his last 16 plate appearances. 1-1 pitch inside to Pham. 2-1. Pham has a triple tonight. Reached on an error, scored, grounded out to third. The 2-1 pitch. 2-2.
Nice article today comparing like Pham and Martinez, 2 guys that battled against each other a couple of years ago and got their perspective of what they thought of each other as ball players. And one thing about Tommy Pham, no surprise after you know how open he is with his thoughts, that he always wondered why people called him like that platoon guy, that 4th or 5th outfielder. Always felt that he should be a starter. And this year he's proven he's right.
2-2 pitch. Pham, a swing and a miss, and he strikes out. Cardinals strand a couple. Brett Cecil coming on when we come back. By disaster relief immediately. Help people affected by hurricanes Harvey and Irma. by visiting redcross.org or texting the word Red Cross to 90999 to make a $10 donation. Here's Brett Cecil in our Chevy call to the pen. Left-hander comes in. The Cardinals have a 4-run lead. 5 innings tonight from Lynn. So the bullpen has to get the final 12.
Strange year for Brett Cecil. His first with the Cardinals. Out to a real slow start, which they say is his normal for him. Then he kind of righted the ship, pitched pretty well for a while, and then things started caving in again. We had trouble with the left-handed batters.
Joey Votto at the plate. Then we'll see Peraza and Suarez. 2-0 pitch. 2-1. Votto a perfectionist. Let's just say he wasn't real happy about that last swing. He's happy with that. Base hit into right field. 1 for 3 on the night. That's how we start play here in the 6th.
Keep him 1 for 3. You kind of feel like you've moral victory. He's that good of a hitter. Knows the strike zone so well. Boy, there's a pitcher's pitch, and he gets a base hit on it. Down and away, run on the block.
Here's Peraza. Came in as a defensive replacement for Scooter Gennett. You got to wonder if something's wrong with Gennett. Votto with that base hit has now reached base safely his last 15 games.
So when they get him out one time, and then he goes on another tear for another 20 or so, and he's almost been on base 300 times this season.
5 times he has finished in the top 7 of the MVP. On pace to hit 300 for the 8th time in his career. Little chopper left side, could be 2. The turn quickly done by Coleman. The double play. What a turn that was.
Boy, you're right about how quick he is. Ozzy-like. You know, Ozzy used to play catch before a game, and it was like the ball never stuck in his glove, never hit his glove. It just kind of like bounced out right into his hand and throwing it all in one motion. He kind of likes it himself.
Good to see Ozzy on Sunday night at Whitey Herzog's annual golf tournament.
Did a great job again. But that was a lot of fun.
Oh, thank you, the MC.
MCing.
It was a lot of fun.
I'm sorry I didn't mention the Emmy yet, but I'll get there.
Yeah.
Game's not over.
Ozzy has done, and Whitey have done an awful lot in our community. Ozzy is heavily involved in the golf community here.
Yes.
And Whitey just continues to raise money for youth baseball programs and fields. And on Sunday, it was a chance to honor the 1987 team. And one of the interesting things that he said a bunch. He's still so sharp, but he said in his mind, and he went through the litany of the greatest players that ever have put on a Cardinal uniform. In his opinion, Willie McGee is the most popular Cardinal ever. And he mentioned Stan. He mentioned Albert.
And
he mentioned
Ozzy was right there too when he said it. But
that catch your attention?
I caught my attention, along with, as you said, brought up guys from the 30-year anniversary of the '87 team, and his memory was sharper than some of theirs.
It was unbelievable, wasn't it? 2-2 is popped up. Oh, he slammed the bat. Then he broke it over his knee. That looks like what you do when it's old school wrestling night. And that's what we have here tonight. Slam it. Now break it. Yes, sir. Season is coming up. Cardinals take on the Brewers Saturday, September 30th. That day, 30,000 fans go home with a Scott Rowland bobblehead courtesy of Coca-Cola and Deerbergs. Fans also receive a 2018 Cardinals magnet schedule. That's thanks to Shelter Insurance. Visit cardinals.com/promotions for more information. And a strike to Paul DeJong. Underway here in the bottom of the 6th, and it's 8-4 Cardinals.
And so many times you have these young players that come up in AAA and they know their opponents because they played together or played against each other in like the Pacific Coast League. When I was around, there were 3 AAA. There was Pacific Coast League, the American Association, and the International League. And now they've done away with the American Association. The Reds play, you know, their minor leagues. Indianapolis in the International League, Cardinals in the Pacific Coast League in Memphis, so they never play these guys. So they're seeing some of these pitchers for the first time.
How about Memphis? Even with all the players that helped them get into postseason play, they still advance.
Isn't that amazing?
You know, when people look back, the story has not been written about the 2017 Cardinals, but part of the story, depending on how it all unfolds, will be the Memphis Redbirds and what they did this year.
And Memphis and in St. Louis.
Right. 2-2 pitch. I mean, you think that the Cardinals have 2 players in their lineup tonight that were playing college baseball 2 years ago in Bader and the man at the plate, Paul DeJong. The 3-2 pitch. DeJong, fly ball, deep center, at the wall, gone! Solo home run, Paul DeJong, number 22.
He's a triple away from the cycle. Leads the ball club with his 22 home runs, and we were talking about Memphis. He had 13 in Memphis before he got called up to the big leagues this year.
Nissan drive of the game. Dead center field off the bat of Paul DeJong. That short stroke.
And you can see when the ball's down and when it's even up around the shoulders, he still can drive that ball when it's on the inner half.
Here's Jose Martinez. And a strike. Now 9-4 Cardinals. It's been an amazing rookie campaign for DeYoung.
So 22 home runs here, 13 at Memphis. And there's the sign to the bullpen. Can't
All
forget
together.
those bullpen guys.
No.
All together. Everybody had an individual sign when they got a base hit. And then they had that meeting a couple of weeks ago and said, hey, let's forget about this. We're all in this battle together. Let's come up with a universal sign for all of us. And that's grasping both hands together. Good to see Martinez after that tumble and looked like he came up with a sore wrist. But like I said, you got 10 years in the minor leagues. You don't want to miss any minute here at the big league level.
They would have to carry him off, I would assume. 1-2 pitch. Base hit into center. His second hit of the night. So the theme night tonight at the ballpark, old school wrestling night. And that's the shirt that you get. It's got the championship belt, all the years of the Cardinals championships. That's Randy Popo, and better known as the Macho Man Randy Savage, who played in both the minor leagues of the Cardinals and the Reds.
Ooh, yeah. And a world champion wrestler. About Lee Thomas, who had to tell the Macho Man he was going to release him. Sad news. Jim Donahue Sr. passed away just a couple days ago, and you know, I first met him.
Runner goes. Martinez, a stolen base.
First met him when he signed me to my first Rawlings contract, club contract.
Bones
Senior.
Yeah.
And see Martinez with the steal here.
Boy, he was a fixture at the ballpark for years.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he was a Rawlings rep for many, many years. He played in the Cardinal organization, big league pitcher. Great guy, you know. Jimmy Jr., Bones Jr., you know, was traveled with us for years as bullpen catcher. Great family, and sad to hear his passing.
Yeah. Molina, an RBI double back in the first inning.
That was the third steal for Martinez.
You get word that Scooter Gennett left the game with a left hand inflammation. That's why he no longer was in their lineup. The 2-1 pitch to Yadier Molina. Here's a 3-1 to Yadi. Base hit into right. Martinez will score. Molina has been an RBI machine here as of late.
Third RBI tonight. He tied his career high with 5 on Sunday. This pitch down and away. Look at the swing. Just really controlled, guided that bat, guided to the right side. Votto's so far off the line, he has no chance to get it. Cardinals get another run. Yadi up to 75 RBIs.
10-4 our score here in the home half of the 6th. Chicago a 5-2 lead. That's in the bottom of the 6th. And Milwaukee a 5-2 lead in the top of the 8th. Here's Colton Wong, and still nobody out. Cardinals have been, and the game has changed, but boy, they are real comfortable in the batter's box.
And it has changed, and you know, you just don't play that way anymore. That throw the ball over the middle, and you're going to get beat.
We just don't see a lot of pitchers. Some do, not many, but throwing inside.
I wasn't going to say this, but I did tell Bader today. I said the other day in the pre and post game, and I said, if I faced you, I'd drill you.
There's a diving catch.
Very nice play right there. And Yachty gets back. I said, I would drill you. He goes, why would you put me on second base? I said, well,
That's a good answer.
Yeah, it was a good answer. And I said, well, why do you think you're going to be able to get up?
Did he laugh?
He did. And we talked and how the game's different. But you know how he twirls the bat, and you know how he first gets there and twirls it, and then he does this, pointing it at the pitcher a little bit. And I said, I'd drill you. And he did say the game's played different.
Oh, sure.
And we were talking about, Lou Brock telling me that the only way you can slide head first is if infielders allow you to do it. Because in our area, they'd drop a knee on you and hurt you, to keep you, you didn't like the opposition.
Bader actually studies the history of the game. Talked to him about it, and especially Cardinal history. Is a keen interest in the history and the former players, which is great to see.
It is.
1 ball, 1 strike. Davis' second inning of work. 10-4 our score.
They might make sure Davis is okay here.
Well, it's another game for the Cardinals. Now the training staff out with Brian Price. With the Cardinals scoring 10 or more runs.
Turner saw something.
Most games scoring 10 or more runs since August 7th. The Cardinals, including tonight, was 7. Diamondbacks have jumped out to a lead against Colorado. They're showing that highlight, the video board here in St. Louis. That got the attention of the Cardinal bench. That's Hernandez, a right-hander, getting loose in the pen.
Heck with a wild card, go for the Central Division. Cardinals aren't afraid if they had to play that 1-game play-in, but you would much rather avoid that and win your division.
And a pitch taken low. Two and 1 the count on Bader. He has singled and scored tonight. High chopper to third. Get the lead man, no chance to get Bader.
Yeah, I don't think they had a chance, period, but then a little missed grip of the ball by Suarez guaranteed that he'd be down the line.
Jack Flaherty goes tomorrow, 3rd ever Major League start. Will come your way at 6:30. What a shock, he's holding a baseball there.
Impressive
All
young
the pitchers
man.
do.
Impressive young man. I was talking to him a little bit today, and second start was so much better than the first start, and he was really looking forward to picking up that first win.
So 2 outs runner at first, and here is Randall Grichuk. And the strike to Randall. Grichuk tonight is struck out. Sac fly, RBI in the 3rd, and flied out to right. 10-4 our score. Cardinals trying to make it 4 wins in a row. The 0-1 pitch. Breaks his bat as he pulls that foul. You think about the most recent road trip, the Cardinals. If Keon Broxton doesn't make a game-saving catch, that could be a win. Then you had the meltdown late against San Francisco. And then the game against San Diego, you at least had twice the tying run come to the plate. The winning run at one point came to the plate.
I remember Lance Lynn went 8 innings of one-hit baseball and had the blister problem, came out. Giants won that 2-1 in the 10th.
Bader, little hesitation from the catcher, trying to pick it up, and he takes second base.
I'm going to say one other thing about Bader. One of the things I really do like about him is, you know, he has that inner confidence, and he doesn't care what other people think. And that's a good attribute. I was thinking when he was on first base, having that kind of attitude is going to make him a base stealer. You know, a defiance that I'm going to dare you to throw me out.
1-2 the count on Grichuk, with 2 outs and a runner at second. Stays alive. Here's a 1-2. Fights it off. Grichuk also has started choking up, and with his power, doesn't really matter.
No.
I mean, he's going to send the ball out of the ballpark.
That was one of the things Whitey Herzog talked earlier in the season about how few guys choke up, and the ones that do, Rizzo and Votto, 2 of the better players in the game.
Two pitch. Got him. The strikeout of Grichuk. DeYoung, the home run number 22 on the year. Triple away from the cycle. The Cardinals with 11 hits tonight, 10-4 lead. Carson Kelly takes over behind the plate. Second inning of work for Brett Cecil. We're in the 7th inning. Scott Schebler leads it off for the Reds. Breaking ball and a strike.
I like what they're doing with Cecil, giving him multiple innings. That's help him get straightened out by going deep into a ball game. At some point, he's going to have to pitch a very big point in the game, and you can forget about everything if he gets the person out.
Running out of time, though, to get him straightened out.
That's it. So, I mean, you got to, sometimes just one inning of work isn't enough.
Late with that swing. Colorado now a 2-1 lead. Gonzalez a 2-run homer. Martinez a home run. Martinez has just been incredible pickup for the Diamondbacks. Chicago 6-2, top of the 7th. They lead the Mets. Bottom of the 8th, Milwaukee 5-2 over the Pirates. The 0-2 pitch. Bounced foul. Including tonight, 19 games remain in the regular season.
I went on the limb the other day, Danny, and I said if the Cardinals win all the rest of their games, they'll win.
It's quite a statement.
It's in their hands.
Well, they're going to lose some, you would think, along the way.
Can't think that way. The other team's going to lose some. You just play every game, every inning, every pitch. Like it's the most important. Really, I mean, you really do have to just concentrate on the one game you play.
0-2 is a fly ball into center. Bader won't get there, over his head. And Schebler in with a double. Ball hit right at him. Didn't get a great jump on it. And it's a double for Schebler.
Absolutely right. It's that ball that's right at you. You just can't really tell the height. If it's off to the side, either way, you can see it. But didn't really get the jump to go back on it. May not have been able to catch it either way. It was hit hard and deep enough, but just the little hesitation. I was right at the base of the wall. He wasn't going to catch that one.
8th hit of the night for the Reds. And the batter is Adam Duvall. First pitch popped up. Carpenter makes the catch. Friday, September 29th, you can look like the pros on the ice and on the field. That night, 30,000 fans, 16 and older, will take home a replica Blues batting practice jersey, just like the ones worn by the Cardinals during their pregame warm-ups, courtesy of Fox Sports Midwest. Get your tickets at cardinals.com/promotions. And training camp just about set to begin for the Blues.
Kid was just starting his playoff beard.
A little early. Cecil with time makes the play, and watch out. 2 outs.
It'd be real dangerous for that first baseman reaching in front of the runner coming down the line, but it's one of the advantages with a 6'7" first baseman. They got a long reach. Throws it right into the runner. And see how quickly he gets that hand down.
First pitch is strike to Phillip Ervin.
Looks like he can run, doesn't he?
Here's the 0-2 pitch to Phillip Ervin. And he struck him out. Time to stretch. Cardinals on top. It's 10-4. home run, the Gateway Honda dealers donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Missouri. New pitcher in, Ariel Hernandez, right-hander. He had 39 appearances for Pensacola and Louisville. Went 3-2, did have 1 save. Garcia will be the pinch hitter. 275 career pinch hitter, Greg Garcia. Garcia here, and then the top of the lineup for the Cardinals, and Paul DeYoung a triple away from the cycle. DeYoung's home run number 22. And so he is closing in on the record for Cardinals shortstops in terms of home runs hit. 22 by Johnny Peralta. Now he's got 22 this year. 2 came as a pinch hitter, 4 as a second baseman. The rain picks up here at the ballpark. Some of the fans heading for cover. 2-1 the count.
Hernandez was a Rule 5 draft pickup, but in the AAA version of it. So it was back in 2015.
We should explain that when you're a Rule 5 pickup, you jump up a league.
Right, you're
so
not
you
protected.
can have it at AAA.
Yeah, so you have them actually, I think, AA, AAA, big leagues, and meaning if you're selected, you have to stay with that level for the entire year. Now you could go on the disabled list, and people kind of manufacture it at times, but you have to stay there or offered back to the organization that you were drafted from. In this case, it would be Arizona.
And there's ball 4. We did see Bill Finley talking to the crew chief. That's Gary Cedarstrom. There's Bill, head groundskeeper here at the ballpark, and they knew this rain was coming, but they allowed the inning to start, which then would tell you that they probably figure it could be a short rain and then clear out and continue to play.
I asked Bill before the game. He said, we're in jeopardy a little bit, but not anticipating anything lasting long. You don't see his crew out there in the field, and actually looks like it's lightened up a little bit too.
Bobby Bonds, by the way, the last Cardinal leadoff hitter to have drawn 4 walks in a game. Carpenter has done that tonight. He scored 3 times. And that's a base hit inside the first base line, on base for the 5th time tonight. Garcia being waved in. He hesitated just a bit. The throw to the plate. Save! I think they may have had a little issue in right field. Garcia started to slow up around third, and then eventually came around to score.
Well, you just hope it's not slowing up because of traction or like a wet spot or something, but Carpenter coming out of the game, but after this double and RBI.
Yeah, the ball just died, and you can see the right fielder anticipating a little different carom off the sidewall. And so career RBI number 400 for Matt Carpenter, and Alex Mejia will be the pinch runner at second base.
I've been real impressed with Mejia's defense and throwing arm.
Big time. Here's Tommy Pham. 11-4 I score.
I knew that Tommy Pham signed as a shortstop. I did not know that the reason they moved him in the outfield is because he had developed the IPS throwing. And that doesn't, you know, when you can move a guy from the outfield, it just doesn't seem like it phases them. They can make all the throws in the world, and it's not physical, it's a mental thing.
For years he has had the arm that's been rated the best outfield arm. Cardinals minor league system. Best tools, most athletic, good speed, all those things. They came prepared. 2 balls and a strike on Tommy Pham. A triple tonight. That scored 2 back in the 2nd inning. 3-1. Sometimes you see the rain on television, looks a lot worse than it really is, and just a steady rain here at the ballpark right now. Pham fouls it back. Three and 2. The Cardinals are going to pull back to Young, and it'll be Sierra back in the big leagues, called up this afternoon, so DeYoung will not have a shot at that cycle, and we'll see Magneuris Sierra with runners at first and second. Mark Redzolanek is the last to hit for the cycle. It happened in 2005. I remember it well. It was a day game against the Milwaukee Brewers at Busch Stadium 2. I was right. Again, Al, why do I remember these things? Help me.
I was saying it was Kansas City, but you were right. The one I remember was John Mabry.
That was in Colorado.
Colorado, the natural cycle, single, double, triple, home run. And it was a night game.
That was back in 1996. Kenny Boyer, the only Cardinal to do it twice. Also the last Cardinal to play in every game of a season. 1964.
Boyer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Here's the 0-2. Well, Sierra could be a weapon for the Cardinals here down the stretch with his great speed.
I just like to see him up here and see what he can do, because he was electrifying.
He strikes out here. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the St. Louis Cardinals. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Sierra, by the way, in 13 games hit .365.
Remember, he and Tommy Pham showed up, both of them the same day in Atlanta. And boy, were they impressive and gave the Cardinals a real jump in their offense.
Jose Martinez, a big rip and a foul back for strike 1. Double and a single. 2 RBIs tonight. 2 for 4.
Martinez made the team out of spring training, and Tommy Pham got sent out. And Tommy just had a bad spring, and Martinez had a great one. Now they're both hitting in the top 4 of the lineup.
Anytime it gets where it's drizzling or wet, you worry about a ball slipping out of the hand of a pitcher. You don't want anybody hurt. You don't want anybody slipping. This late in the year, the bags can be a little wet too. The check swing did not go. Crowd staying dry. I think of Bryce Harper going down the line at first base, slipping on the bag.
But you know, Danny, all the years they played, I don't ever remember an injury like that. Now it's to one of the marquee players and got everyone's attention.
The slider taken low.
Milwaukee. It's the final. They beat Pittsburgh 5-2.
The 2-2 pitch. Fouled back. So if the Cardinals win tonight, they would stay a half game in front of Milwaukee with 18 to play. Cubbies trying to hold on. They're at the top of the 8th, 7-2 over the Mets.
You play your game and you can hope for help from other clubs, but just best to play your game and win yours.
Taken low. Mentioned that Cleveland has now won 20 in a row, 2-0. Corey Kluber went the distance. They defeated the Tigers 2-0. Milwaukee was a 5-2 win over Pittsburgh. And the bases are loaded for Carson Kelly. If you can't catch the games on television, you can stream them live on your mobile device with Fox Sports Go. Download the app, take Fox Sports Midwest and Cardinals baseball with you wherever you go. Colorado, Arizona, they're tied 2-2. That's in the top of the 4th.
3 walks this inning. Mac Jenkins out trying to talk to his young pitcher. Throw strikes. Almost the point where you say, hey, I'd rather give you up a grand slam than to walk another man.
Now the flip side of all this winning, what about the Dodgers? Dodgers, boy, it's hard to believe what has happened with them. It's in the bottom of the 2nd. They're scoreless right now against San Francisco. LA has lost 11 in a row.
Something like 12 out of 13 also.
They've won 1 game of their last 15. And that's since they were featured on the cover of Sports Illustrated.
Oh, the curse. But you know
label,
what?
the label on the front of the magazine said, are they the greatest team ever?
Yeah, and you know, they'd rather go through this now than have it happen when they hit the playoffs. That's just hard to imagine with their pitching.
Don't you think you got to get it going a little bit, though?
Well, I mean, they do have enough time to get it going.
The amazing part is that you got 1 win in 15 games and you still have a 9-game lead.
They lost, what, about 11 games?
11 in a row.
But, I mean, in the lead, too.
Oh, yeah.
Let's face it, you know, the Cubs have allowed the Cardinals to get back into it.
They were up. The Dodgers were 21 games back on the 25th of August. Bases loaded now for Carson Kelly. The 2-1 pitch.
I asked Billy Miller today. I said, Carson was in the cage. I said, are you concerned about him hitting? He goes, absolutely not. He said all he needs is repetition.
The 2-2 pitch to Kelly. 3-2. So 1 out, bases loaded. This would be a nice way to get your first ever career home run with the bases loaded. The 3-2 pitch. He'll take the walk and the RBI. 12-4. Mejia scores. 4th walk.
You can see why he was, you know, Rule 5 pick. Everybody loves his arm, the power arm, but you got to throw strikes.
Bases loaded. Colton Wong. There's a double tonight inside the third base line. 1 for 4. And that's ball 1.
Hernandez coming into this season had 204 minor league innings. And he had 150 walks.
Wow. Base hit into right field. Run will score. Martinez held up at third. 2-hit night, Colton Wong. Plaza Tire Service Fox Tracks. Most runs in a game for the Cardinals this year, 14 against Miami. They're closing in on that. This is our Chevy call to the pen. That's it for Hernandez. Bader coming up with the bases loaded. First round pick by the Jays, 28-year-old out of Richmond, Virginia. Boy, these fans just taking it in and having a great time.
McGuire signed with the Reds as a minor league free agent back in February of 2014. Spent the season with the Blue Wahoos, where he was a mid-season All-Star, 27 games, 9-9, 2.79 ERA, and he last pitched for against Jacksonville when he won the game. Complete game, 8 innings, 4 hits allowed, struck out 13, and didn't walk anybody.
Sure hope they hit one to me. Major league debut for Deck McGuire. The 16th Red to make his debut.
And he was just called up today.
Deck McGuire, I remember mentioning his name in spring training games. He was in the Cardinals system briefly. Spring training of 2016.
Deck kind of gets your attention, right? A recall.
Here's the 0-1. Reds have 21 rookies, 15 of the 21 pitchers, 6 position players, 16 major league debuts. They've had 28 over the last 2 seasons, and that's the most in baseball. Inside corner. Here's a 1-2 pitch. Two and 2 the count. Bader with a base hit back in the second and a run scored. Ground ball that's hit to short. Out at second. The turn, and they get him. Deck McGuire gets the double play ball, and it's 13-4. Called to the pen. So Duke comes in. We're in the 8th inning. The Cardinals in control here of game number 1. Lance Lynn went 5 innings tonight. A couple of innings from Brett Cecil. 19th appearance for Duke.
Plenty of rest. So it needs this to kind of tune up a little bit. Thinking about a left-hander. I saw one of our favorite former Cardinal left-handers today, Kent Merker. They're at the ballpark and introduced me to one of his business associates. He's in the agent business now. And in their stable was quite a few Cardinals. Including Lance Lynn, Grichuk, Fowler, Diaz. I think a couple more. So it's good to see him. Look good.
Here's a Winker at the plate.
Looking for a golf game.
There's strike one. Did you accommodate?
No, I told him you.
Oh, you're Mr. Connections around here. I've mentioned many times, man of the people, to where if you bring that jersey, if you wear it, Al would be happy to sign it for you.
There's your friend.
Guy surrounded by all his buddies. Here's a 2-1 pitch to Winker. And a fly ball into center. Bader spun around, but he'll make the catch. And there's one away. What a great deal on tickets. Philip had Phillips 66 with 8 gallons or more. Now until September 25th. Receive up to 50% off on a pair of tickets to a Cardinals home game. For more information, visit cardinals.com/Phillips66. Here's Zach Cozart with 1 out, nobody on.
Mentioned way back in the first inning when he hit the home run, that potential free agent. I was thinking at that time, you know, maybe somebody the Cardinals would have interest before DeYoung came on the scene. And we all were kind of thinking at some point Diaz would be moved to another position.
Cozart a career high now, 20 home runs, 5 shy in the RBI department to match his career high. Goes down to get it, and there's Bader for out number 2.
Duke's done a nice job. You know, he was a starter when he first came to the big leagues with the Pirates, then realized that he needed to make a career change when he's in the minor leagues with Cincinnati, and that's when he started dropping down and becoming an effective lefty reliever.
Well, Joey Votto is on pace. He has a base hit tonight to lead the National League in walks for the 5th time, on base percentage the 6th time. He's had very good numbers against Zach Duke, 14 for 28, but much of that when Zach was a starter with Pittsburgh. 1-0 pitch. 2 balls and no strikes as the rain is picked up. Remnants of Hurricane Irma, we were told, coming through the ballpark. Get up the middle. Wong has it to first. The tag not in time. What an effort by Colt Wong.
Nice effort also by Martinez. That would have been nice if he could have. 6'7" wingspan of Martinez had to come off the bag, but it was a great play by Colton to get to the ball and then try to get it in the vicinity of first base, not throw it away. And see, if Votto wasn't running hard, he might have walked right into the tag. I don't think Votto takes much for granted, though. He knows when to stop after he touches the base.
Here's Peraza and a base 0 for 1 tonight, filling in for Jeanette. Came in midway through. 0-1 the count with 2 outs. Cardinals playing behind the runner at first. That's Joey Votto. And it's 0-2. And a fly ball. Bader makes the catch. Is brought to you by Bud Light, famous among friends, and by Ford, the official cars and trucks of the St. Louis Cardinals. Grichuk a base hit into left. Plaza Tire Service, Fox Tracks. I'll say this, I give any fan a lot of credit for staying through the rain, watching the game. It's 13-4. You don't have to stick around. You probably know the conclusion of this game. More than likely a Cardinal win, but if you're sticking around waiting for that souvenir like that gentleman by himself, I give him a lot of credit. Stick it all the way out. Watch a little baseball. Here's the 0-1. A ball and a strike. Play behind the runner at first. That's Grichuk. Outside corner, strikeout of Garcia. Chicago an 8-2 lead. That's in the bottom of the 8th. We mentioned that Milwaukee, they won tonight 5-2 over Pittsburgh. Colorado, Arizona, they're tied 2-2. That's in the top of 5. Kershaw against Cueto tonight, the Dodgers and Giants. The first career strikeout for Deck McGuire. That pitch popped up on the infield. Uh-oh. It drops. And Grichuk winds up at second base.
And now you see why you're supposed to vacate. If you're a pitcher, vacate the area. You just be the policeman and let some of the sure hands catch it.
It's Chad Wallach, who's a catcher at first base.
Chad Wallach, by the way, is Tim Wallach's son. Now was in the coaching staff in Miami. Former third baseman, good one with Montreal. Rosario.
Alberto Rosario, he made his major league debut last year. First ever hit was against Milwaukee in a day game. Hits it up the middle, backhanded nicely, and is it a tag? No, he's safe at first.
It would have been a nice double play, and
sure would have.
They completed the toughest part, and was at second base. But remember Rosario getting that base hit to right field, and Milwaukee, another guy who's been about, what, 8-9 years in the minor leagues, getting that first opportunity.
Bumping his fist in the air as he ran down that first base line.
Thought he was going to come up with another one here, but wide throw.
Good call, too. Extends it to Magneuris Sierra. 13-4 our score with 2 outs, runners at first and third. Sierra struck out first time up.
He came up to the big leagues. He was coming up from Palm Beach. And they sent him down to, when he went down after a great first showing, went down to Double-A.
And a high fly ball into center. The top of the 9th coming up. Sandy Alcantara, hard throwing young man coming into the game. We come back. Sandy Alcantara. This is a reason to stick around and watch. This young man can flat out bring it. Now he has made one major league appearance. It was back on the 3rd against the San Francisco Giants. Went 2/3 of an inning. Actually gave up a home run, but we saw him spring training. He was hitting with ease. It seemed like triple digits that day, hitting 98, 99 on the gun. And the Cardinals believe that the future is awfully bright for this young man.
Now my question is I haven't seen him as much as you have, but the few times I've seen him, I've seen major league hitters just turn on his fastball, indicating it must be straight, high octane, but you know at this level they can time it.
It's interesting you say that, because one of the things that the Cardinals advised him to do,
the sinker, right?
And he would throw that, but then he would throw a 4-seam or 2 to try to work on control. So trying to spot the ball a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's a work in progress.
But you love the arm, and there's definitely something to work with.
And easy.
And that body's just going to get stronger.
Oh. 99.
Right at your chin.
To Suarez.
Suarez is not anxious to get back in the batter's box. Hey, come on. It's 13-4. They're killing us, but we don't want to really die.
Here's a 1-0. 99 again. I mean, you just watch the delivery. I mean, it's smooth.
Yeah.
The ball really explodes out of his hand. Inside again. 1-100 on the gun.
Now the fans have started reading the radar gun and getting excited.
2-1 pitch. Up and in again. Suarez is thinking, okay, just get me at the dugout or at first base and I'll be fine. Ball 4, that'll be fine. And it's a leadoff walk. Turn to our player of the game, and it's Paul DeYoung, triple away from the cycle. Budweiser player of the game as he goes 3 for 4. His home run was hit to center field, just over the wall. Sierra pinch hit for him and did not have the opportunity at the triple.
He was at Double-A, and he was there for a reason. Now there's his arm is big league arm all the way. Put him on the market, and everybody would offer something for him.
Get down the left field line and out of play. Just Schebler at the plate. Double play ball. Low throw. What a pick. What a double play. You can see it coming too. Mejia, boy, he is nifty with that glove.
Well, we talked about how impressive he's been with his glove and his arm. Sandy fields this ball right here, and then kind of see where it eased up there. You take the crow hop. Ricky was talking about that, and then get you in line. But he kind of started to do it, stopped, and then right there, you see, he kind of flinched for a second, and then he tried to rush his throw and threw it right in the dirt. But Mejia helped him out big time.
A little bit low. Crowd tonight 40,030, 40030. There's the breaking ball. 2-1 the count. On the air tomorrow will come your way at 6:30. Cardinals attendance over 3 million for the 14th straight year. Two and two. Fastball struck him out. Cardinals win it 13-4. Alcantara gets the final 3 outs.
Good game, Danny. A lot of offense. Cardinals had to come out here. You know, the pressure's on the Cardinals. They are the ones that need to win these games. Cincinnati just trying to play out the schedule, so may not pick up any ground on anybody in this game, but 18 to go, and you kind of build up more confidence that you're going to win this for the long haul.
Post-game show next. Sarah Daly and Rick Horton. Cardinals trailed early, but then poured it on. 13-4 the final. And the post-game show comes your way next.